comedy shows do. They allow people to laugh at the things you're not allowed to say, because I can just about get away with saying them now in the guise of comedy. And it's a fine line. I was arrested and interviewed under caution. I haven't spoken about this yet, about 3 weeks ago. And I'm waiting to be charged for the crime of online communications, crime of speech. For my Katie's, I do a pub night online called the Katie's Arms.
I love the Katie's Arms.
So I've been arrested for that.
I see.
Because of what I said on my Katie's Arms pub.
You know, when you talk about that, the role of a comedian, it reminds me of the role of a journalist. Because when I was growing up as a journalist, you know, we didn't expect to be liked by the government, and we always got complaints from the audience. And you were sort of, and the mantra was, if you're hated by everybody, you're doing something right. You know, if everybody's unhappy with you. And then suddenly along the way, we became crowd pleasers. I don't know.
And Katie Hopkins has once again become the center of controversy, but this time the situation is far more serious than anything she has faced before. She revealed that she was arrested and interviewed under caution because of her outspoken live stream series, Katie's Arms. The charge, as she explained, falls under what authorities call online communications offenses. In plain English, it's a crime of speech. Hopkins herself said she's now waiting to be charged. Think about that for a moment. In Britain today, someone can be arrested, questioned by police, and potentially face prison time, not for committing violence, fraud, or theft, but simply for words spoken into a camera. According to Katie, officers grilled her over things she said during her broadcasts, treating her commentary as though it were a criminal act. She summed it up clearly: she was arrested for a crime of speech. That phrase highlights a much deeper problem. Whether you agree with Katie Hopkins or completely disagree with her views, the principle here matters. If speech itself can be criminalized, then the line between free expression and government censorship has already been crossed. Britain is now entering dangerous territory where comedians, commentators, and even ordinary citizens can be dragged into police stations because of what they say online. We have already seen people arrested for tweets, for jokes, and even for using the wrong words. Hopkins now joins that growing list, and the precedent should concern everyone. Authorities may call it an online communication offense, but in practice, it means punishing people for saying things the state disapproves of. And once this system exists, it won't just be used against high-profile figures like Hopkins. It can be turned on anyone. For years, she has built a career on being blunt, unfiltered, and deliberately provocative. Her live stream, Katie's Arms, has given her a platform to criticize government policy, political correctness, and the shrinking space for free speech in the UK. That very bluntness is why she has an audience, and it's also why she is now in the crosshairs. At this point, she is still waiting to hear if formal charges will be brought. If that happens, she could face a criminal trial and even prison, all for words. And make no mistake, the establishment wants to make an example of her, sending a chilling message to others who might dare to speak out. With the new Online Safety Act giving regulators sweeping powers and the list of harmful content growing longer, Britain's space for free expression is shrinking fast. Hopkins has always been divisive. The mainstream media attacks her, advertisers avoid her, and she has been banned from multiple platforms. But now the issue goes beyond her personality. It's about whether free speech still exists in Britain. Because if Katie Hopkins can be arrested for what she says today, the question is simple: who will it be tomorrow?
And there you have it. Katie Hopkins, in her own words, describing what it feels like to be arrested in Britain today for nothing more than speaking her mind. Whether you personally agree with her views or not, the principle here is crystal clear. When speech itself is turned into a crime, democracy begins to die. This isn't about left versus right, or whether you support Katie Hopkins or oppose her. It's about something much bigger: the right of people living in a supposedly free country to express themselves without living in fear of a police officer knocking at their door. Because if the establishment can silence one person, they can silence anyone. The real question is no longer whether free speech is under attack in Britain. That much is obvious. The real question is how much longer people are going to tolerate it. Meanwhile, in other political news, the conversation has shifted toward immigration and the asylum system. A Liberal Democrat MP, Marie Goldman, has urged the government to accelerate asylum application processing in order to fill massive workforce gaps across industries like agriculture and hospitality. Representing Chelmsford, Goldman argued that people who are already approved as legitimate asylum seekers should be able to step into jobs that desperately need workers. We need more people in our hospitality industry and more people picking our crops, she told GB News. Right now, thousands of applicants are left in limbo, waiting for decisions that could take months or even years. According to Goldman, this benefits no one. It leaves asylum seekers frustrated and idle, and it leaves businesses without staff. The Liberal Democrats are now pushing to treat the asylum backlog as a national crisis that requires emergency measures. One of their proposals includes creating Nightingale-style asylum centers, similar to the temporary hospitals built during the pandemic, to process nearly 90,000 pending cases at speed. Party leader Sir Ed Davey has confirmed that the plan involves tripling the number of staff handling applications, aiming to clear the backlog within 6 months. Under this system, those without valid claims would be deported immediately, while those with legitimate cases would be granted approval quickly, allowing them to work and contribute to the economy. Davey framed this reform as not only economically sensible, but also morally necessary. He pointed out that many asylum seekers suffer from trauma, mental health issues, and fear for their relatives left behind. Forcing them to wait endlessly in limbo only deepens their suffering. He also accused the previous Conservative government of deliberately engineering delays as a way to deter new arrivals. In his words, the Conservatives built the backlog on purpose, and they should be held accountable for it. Beyond economics, Davey argued that clearing the backlog would also weaken far-right narratives and remove a key talking point for figures like Tommy Robinson. At the party's Bournemouth conference this weekend, the Liberal Democrats are presenting themselves as the party of practical solutions rather than endless posturing. Their message is simple: immigration should be managed with urgency, efficiency, and compassion. So what do you think about everything we covered in today's video? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more updates on British politics. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.